This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. What's up? What's up, y'all? We are back. You got a Cincy fan talking with ALP, and we are back tapping in. So let me go ahead and just say this part before I get into, my whole 100 thing. Bel-Air, when it first dropped, I put the review out for it, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna work, because I watched the first 3 episodes. I watched the first 2 episodes before I did the pod, and then I watched the third one after I did that pod. And I'm like, yeah, so you might not want to catch this. I think what I said was, if you're a fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you might not be feeling this. But if you've never really seen it before, you might get into this. But I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I was really down on it when I first saw it. I felt like I got it, but I didn't get it. I thought they were trying to do too much with the storylines, and they were going really, really far away from who the characters originally were in the comedy. Uh, you can hold me to that. I said that was my word. I came back a few weeks later, and I'm like, oh no, Bel-Air might be kind of fire, like, cause I'm starting to really get into it. And I thought for a second that it was just me getting into it, but it was still kind of sort of trash. I was just feeling it because I had been watching every episode. Then I saw the last 2 episodes, and I'm gonna tell y'all this: I was dead wrong about what I said. And I know a lot of people try to twist what they said at first and say, no, like I saw it. I just didn't want to say it, and I wasn't really wrong. No, like when LP is wrong, he'll tell you. And LP was wrong about how good Bel-Air was. I always said the actors were super solid. I always said that. But what the actors did and what the directors did, especially for the last 2 episodes, was amazing. They did an exceptionally good job of letting you understand who the characters were from before, and then showing you a different picture of the same characters. They did a really good job of that. The character development for the Carlton character was absolutely excellent. It mirrored what happened on the comedy, but it was better on this because it was a drama. So you could really see the stuff that Carlton was going through when Will came through. They did this on the comedy. I felt like they had more time, so they kind of dragged out how important Will would be to Carlton. But since this is one season and 10 episodes, you could see the growth a lot faster. And it wasn't like they forced it. You could see how Carlton needed Will and how Will needed Carlton. It was extremely good. Like, the looking back on it, the entire show was good. The last 2 or 3 episodes, they make you a believer in it. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, watch it from episode 1, and when you get to those last 3 episodes, you'll kind of see what I mean. The only knock I have on this show is the same knock that you would have with the comedy. It's the character development of Ashley. You really don't see a lot of Ashley in the comedy Fresh Prince of Bel-Air until the dark skinned Aunt Viv leaves and light skinned Aunt Viv comes in. Because they wrote a lot of storylines around Janet Hubert Whitten. They wrote a lot of storylines for her. And when she left, they didn't do the same thing for Daphne Maxwell Reid. They moved a lot of those storylines to Ashley. So maybe we'll see a lot of that later in the Bel Air series. I don't know. But she was going through some stuff that was, it really points to the times that we're in, because she's having questions about who she is, who she identifies as far as LGBTQ A plus. Um, she's having not really issues. I feel like she knows who she is. She's having issues letting other people in her family know who she is and who she feels like she's attracted to. I feel like that's very poignant for these times, but they didn't really touch on it a lot. It was like they'd talk about it a little bit and then they move on to something else and never get back to it. I feel like they need to flush that storyline out a whole lot more so people can see that, because I think people can identify with it. I mean, people can. So, other than that one thing, the series is on point. I definitely, it has the LP Cincy fan talk and stamp of approval. I'm going that far. I don't think I gave too many of those out. That might be the first one. We got to make that a thing. I'll give me a little stamp or something. So that's it on that. Um, we on episode 100. This is E100. Um, I won't say that it was like a super hard journey to get here. Um, it wasn't like I was scuffling and surviving to like get to this point. I mean, it we podcasting out here. I'm basically talking into a mic. Like, it's not super duper difficult. And plus the way the show is structured, I mean, there's not a lot of editing to it. I think I did one episode on the 4th of July and there were fireworks going off like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, should I edit those out? Nah, we're not gonna do that. Like, um, I'll have to shout out my entire family. When I first started doing this, um, I would have to wait until really late at night until like the kids went to sleep and they would hear my loud voice just talking like rah, 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 and they were really good about helping me out and staying as silent as they could, even though I probably could still hear like bumps and stuff around in a pod or whatever. But the whole fam was really helpful. Got the 9-year old talking about starting her own podcast. I can't imagine what that would be like, but from watching her and her toys and stuff like that, it's it would be a mess. It would be a hoot. So, um, as far as what we doing next, it's kind of hard to say. For me, I'm a teacher first. That's always gonna take precedence over anything else I do. But um, potting is something that I think it might have been the Taboos pod. Real good pod. I think she's still out here doing work. I'll make sure I'll drop her on links. I think it was her that said something about black men using this as therapy or something like that. Um, I've been thinking about that for months. Maybe it is. When I first started this pod, I was I was basically like, people don't talk about Cincy sports enough. I mean, people just don't. So I'm like, hey, I saw the Google commercial. I'm like, maybe I should talk. So I started out the pod and it was only sports. I only talked sports for like the first 11, 12 episodes. But then stuff just started happening. Um, Wild stuff, crazy stuff around. And I'm like, I can't sit here and just talk sports and be good with that. Especially when I see what happens in the classroom and I see what happens out there in the world, and then coronavirus hit and we're all just stuck in the house. I'm like, I gotta talk about what I see. I gotta talk about what I feel. And from there, we changed the name from Cincy Fan Talk to just a Cincy Fan Talking. And when I say we, I mean me, because it's really me. And I think it really helps. It just helps me to get stuff off my chest. I've never really been into how many subscribers we have or how many people are downloading the content. I mean, I look at it as if I'm talking about teaching. And when I'm teaching, I'm like, I just need to make sure I hit one person. That person that's focused. I'm trying to hit everybody. I want everybody to get the message. But I'm like, if I can just get that one person to feel where I'm coming from and feel what I'm saying, I feel like I did good. And that's really my goal for this. So there's not really a lot of rollout as far as me promoting in like other places. It's just me doing me, and I feel like I've done that for 100 episodes. So for me, I'm not really looking at how many people are listening. I mean, I want people to listen, but for me, it's more like, am I putting out stuff that I can listen to and go like, yeah, I was telling the truth. Yeah, I meant that. That's really my baseline. Um, I've never been about the dog and the pony stuff. I do realize though that, I mean, because I know how I am, and I really don't do anything halfway. It took me a long time to decide the podcast because I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right. So I know I gotta go a little bigger, and I definitely plan to. So, um, I think I got a plan in the works. I said that twice before, and then the plan kind of messed up, but I feel like it's about to happen this time. So, um, I'll have y'all stay tuned for that. Um, and this pod came at an interesting point in the life of LP because I was basically like, I'm not teaching this year. And people were like, oh, well, you teaching from home? I'm like, nah, like I'm not teaching this year. And people are like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah. And there's a lot that went into that. Like I told y'all before, the wife and I talked about it, and she had did something very similar to this 7, 8 years ago. And she was like, I'm going back to get my degree. I'm going to get my master's. Did it all online. And she's like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to work and do that because it's pretty hard. I'm like, don't worry about it. We got it. Do what you need to do. We got this. It's all good. And what she said was she felt like it was super great for her because she was able to kind of take time off and go like, is this what I really want to do? And she decided, yes, she really did want to teach, and it made it so she can kind of get through everything a lot easier. I see that now. I see it 100% because I did exactly the same thing she did, and it. I won't say I miss teaching because I've always loved teaching, and I feel like I can do it anywhere. But it makes me appreciate being a teacher a lot more because when you're in it, it's like you got to get the lessons out. You got to contact the parents. You got to make sure the kids are okay. You got to make sure your kids are okay. It's a lot. And I'm not saying that your job is less than what I do because that's ridiculous. Everybody's job has parts to it. They go like, dang, do anybody else have to go through this? And being a teacher is one of those things where you have to worry about other people's children a lot to the point where sometimes it makes it difficult to focus on your kids as much as you need to because you got great papers, you got to do lesson plans, you got to get ready for the next day, you got to make sure the kids are on point. There's a lot to it. And stepping back, you realize ways that you can make your job a lot easier. And I'm kind of going like, dang, when I get back in the classroom, I can do this, I can do that, I can make sure I do this at a certain time so I can give my family the attention that they need. I mean, there's a lot to it. I'm kind of looking at it now like I can see why people get burned out, and not just in teaching, although the teaching burnout is extremely real. Like, let me tell you, I've seen people quit teaching and they've been in it for like 11, 12 years. And then they're like, you know what? I'm good. I'm done. Because there's so much to it. And people are like, yeah, you got the summer, you got the whole summer. Let me tell you, as a teacher, you're always thinking about teaching. In the summer, You're in the store, you're in Walmart, and you're going like, dang, I can just pick this up for my team. I can pick this up for my class. I can pick this up for my class. The teaching grind never stops. So it's been like for me, I can avoid that burnout because I had like an entire year to just kind of rest. Look, let me tell y'all this. I've been teaching nonstop since 2006. 2006. Now to do the math, carry the one. I believe that's about 16 years, 15 years, because I didn't do this year. So for 15 straight years, I just been straight grinding, coaching boys and girls basketball, starting basketball leagues, working in the classroom, helping other teachers in the classroom. It's been an awful lot. So to take an entire year and do nothing, look, for the first, I think for the first 3 months, I was just bouncing off the walls. I'm like, I gotta do something. So I was still doing little stuff like getting ready for class. And then at some point I'm like, look, you gotta use the time better because you're gonna get to a point where you're not using this time in the right way. So I've just been kind of deprogramming, especially after last year. I would say last year was like one of the hardest teaching experiences I ever had. It was difficult. I spent from 7:30 until about 2 o'clock every day staring at a television, staring at a computer screen, teaching. And people are like, "Man, LP, you got it made. You get to teach from home. You at home." It was so difficult to teach from home, especially when you're looking at your computer screen and you only see one face because everybody else is hiding their face behind the avatar. It's really difficult to teach and not know if people are listening. It's very frustrating. When they're in your face, it's all good because you can see them. You can let them know, like, hey, you got to get up, man. You got to put your head up. We got work to do. You can go sleep later. Like, we got work right now. You can say that online. It doesn't have the same effect. And people are like, the teachers aren't really effective online. I'm like, we could be, but we need more assistance. We need more help from the parents and whatnot. And the parents go like, well, I got stuff to do, and that's 100% true. I mean, they got the kids at home. They're trying to do what they need to do for work. I'm trying to do what I need to do because I'm at work, and it was just an inconvenience for everybody. It was a very difficult year. I will push to have everybody be able to take some time off, not just teachers. Everybody. I feel like everybody needs. It doesn't have to be a year. It could be a month. It could be 2 weeks. I feel like every single person in the workforce just needs time to go back and go like, look, I need to relax. I need to be able to punch in some appointments for my kids. And I just need time to just not think about work. I feel like this nation would be a whole lot more effective if we value people's mental health and their physical health a lot more. And you can value that by just giving them time to stay home. And I know a lot of people don't have the means to just go like, look, I'm out for a year. I'm good. Catch me next year. People don't really have the means to do that, and I get that. But that rest just goes a long way, especially if you want to stay in the field that you're in for a very long time. I don't know anybody that can just work 25, 35, 40 continuous years and not have it take a toll on them. I mean, I know people can. I know people that do, but it's just going to have like this long-term effect. And I'm like, I want to be here for the long haul. I want to be here and not just punch a clock and say, I did this work for you. I want to be here and be functional and be relevant. Um, you know, that's what I want. So I feel like this is for the best. It has been for the best. I'm kind of anxious to get back in next year, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, this ain't super bad. I just like teaching though, so next year will be me back in the classroom. It'll be all good, and we'll see how it goes. But episode 100 is in the books. Catch me through episode 150 to episode 200, and we'll chart the growth from there. As always, this is LP, and life is good, y'all. Y'all have a great week. Catch you next week. Peace out.
Hi, I'm Princess and I'm Queen. This is Daddy.
You have to say, and this is a Cincy fan talking with LP.
And this is a sensitive fan talking with LP Daddy.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody out there in podcast land? Welcome to episode 100 of a Cincy fan talking with LP, and of course, for the 100th time, literally for the 100th time, this is LP. What's up with y'all? What is good in the hood? Hey, 100 of these. I still remember my heart pumping extremely fast doing the first one. I think I did like 25 different takes, and it only ran about 12, 13 minutes long. I cringe listening to it. But it's part of the process. So appreciate y'all hanging with your boy all this time. We're gonna jump into this. Is kind of a not a really a weird episode, but there's not a lot of sports to this episode. I mean, it's more about me talking about the life journey from there to here and all the weird stuff that I did. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. Um, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Bengals. More of an online thing, like the stuff I've been seeing online. We're gonna talk about that just a little bit. And first, check it out, y'all. I have literally a 6-minute block that I'm gonna use to talk about the Oscars. I'm not going over that. If it's less than 6 minutes, which I hope it is, that's really all good. But I really don't want to spend too much more time talking about the slap heard around the universe, because at this point it's been talked to death. You've heard everybody's viewpoints. Nobody's budging. People are gonna feel how they feel, and I get that. I just thought it was important for me to share one or two things about why the slap is important, and why, honestly, I wouldn't say it's not important, but why people are probably freaking out about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. For me, and it's just me personally, the slap showed me everything that's wrong about what to expect from men. That's what I thought, because I talked to a gang of people that was like, that's what you're supposed to do for your wife, and this, that, and the third. And I said this last week, y'all. I don't want to be married to somebody that expect me to fight. They expect me to real life throw hands because somebody talked about them or disrespected them in that way. Like, somebody say something strange from out of left field, and I'm supposed to walk over there and smack them in the face. I don't need that. That's toxic. I feel like that feeds into the male toxicity thing. I think it feeds into that because the expectation is to protect, and that's always going to be there. I understand that. That's kind of my nature, to protect my family. I get that. But if you try to protect your family from somebody talking about them, you're going to be fighting for the rest of your life, champ. For real. People are going to talk about you, and you don't even have to be a celebrity. I mean, I get talked about all the time, and I don't think I'm a celebrity. I don't think 1,800 followers makes you a celebrity. Like, not for real. And I get talked about. If I had my wife fighting for me every time I got talked about, She be scrapping every day, and that's not what you really want. Chris Rock was out of line. He was. A lot of comedians are out of line for talking about a lot of the stuff they talk about towards other people. We gonna fight all of them. You gonna fight a comedian every time he or she say something disrespectful. You're gonna be fighting forever. So for me, it was more like, what was the expectation for Will Smith? Not from us, but from his core circle. Was that the expectation? To just run up and smack somebody because they said something reckless? No, that can't be the expectation, man. It really can't. And that's what it comes down to for me. It's all about expectations. Had that happened with my wife, I would have expected myself to stand up and say, hey, slow down. You're doing too much. That would have been the wife's expectation. Like, you're not going to say nothing? Like, I got this. You ain't got to worry about that. I don't think she would have expected me to go up there and slap him in the face. I think she would have stopped me from getting up and smacking him in the face. I really feel like she would have did that. And that's how it should be, because how you protecting your family from jail? And that's what you got to think about. You know, you expect men to do all these things, and men expect men to do all these things too. You know, get up, fight, punch, scrap. And you got to control your emotions, because what happens when you take yourself out of the picture? And then you can't protect your family. There's not much you can do from a jail cell. And Will Smith got that long money. You know what I'm saying? He got that train smoke money. So I'm pretty sure he's not getting locked up for that. But us on the lower end of the monetary spectrum, we can't do stuff like that without severe repercussions. And that's what I always tell my students. It's like, you got to control your emotions, because when you do stuff like that, other people to start deciding things for you. And you don't really want that in your life. You want to be able to make the decisions. You don't want other people making your decisions because you took that out of your hands. So, and that's what it is for me. You can't just go around smacking people because somebody got disrespected from words. Self defense is different, as always, but you can't do that. It's not cool. The end. um, I counted about 3.5, 4 minutes. Now that's what I see on my screen. So I hope I did my 6 minute thing correctly. If I went over, let me know. Send me a funny message. Say, hey man, you talk too much. Which is part for the course of the podcast, but I mean, what you gonna do? um, so I'm on Twitter like I'm always on Twitter, tweeting, twoting, twatting. I don't know all that. So I'm doing that, and I put something up about, how Burrow gonna do his thing or whatever, and immediately I start getting messages like, yeah, can't beat Herbert, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, dang, we really here now. Like as Bengals fans, we really here. We to the point where we just getting randomly hated on. We here. I hope we stay here. Um, how I feel about hate. I, I adopt the Cat Williams philosophy towards hatred, which is basically this: if you got 7 people hating on you, you need to do the best that you possibly can to get 12 people hating on you. If people are hating on you, it means you are successful. I tell my 9-year-old this. Real talk. If people are talking about you just randomly for no reason, you are doing something really well that they wish they could do. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl. They weren't expected to go to the Super Bowl. So all of a sudden you got people coming out of the woodwork. Man, the Bengals was trash. They got lucky. What's gonna happen this year without a line? The Bengals cheap. Blah blah blah. Come on. First off, let's dispel the notion that the Bengals are cheap. And here's the thing about Bengals fans, and this is one of the reasons why, not Bengals fans, but people that hate on the Bengals. This is the reason why I started this podcast in the first place. People have a perception about the Bengals that they use from 97 or 2002. And they bring that perception to the current Bengals state. And it's wrong. If you say, man, the Bengals been cheap, I look you dead in the face and go like, yeah, facts. Because the Bengals, they were super duper frugal for years and years and years. But that's not the case now. The Bengals spent money to bring a whole lot of people in on the defensive end. Hendrickson, Von Bell, Eli Apple. I mean, the list goes on and on. They straightened up the defense. Mike Hilton. They spent money on that. These weren't draft picks except for Jesse Bates. And Sam Hubbard too. You got to give him his props. They spent dough to make that defense better than it was a few years ago. They turn around and do the same thing on the offensive end. Revamp that entire offensive line. Spent cash money bread. And people still calling them cheap. I don't even argue with people on this. I just go like, you're not a Bengals fan. You don't watch the Bengals. Like, if somebody tells me that The Office is the dumbest show they've ever seen, and I say, how many episodes you seen? Oh, I just seen the first season. Conversation over for me. I've seen every single episode of The Office probably a bazillion times, to the point where I don't need to see anything but the first scene and I can recite every line. It's genius comedy. But if you tell me to judge The Office on the first season, I go like, yep, you're right. Wasn't a very good show because that was the first season. If you watch all 9 seasons, you'll probably get a different perspective. So when people say to me The Office was dumb and they only saw one season, I'm like, man, no more discussion. That's how I feel about when people tell me that the Bengals are cheap. You sure about that? Have you been watching in the past couple of years? And then I hear stuff like, the Bengals always getting arrested. I'm like, dang, you really stopped watching the Bengals after 07. Like you really did. We've been past that. That's old. That's dead. We on the better things. Like we talking about how good the Bengals are now. And of course, we hearing, man, the Bengals got lucky. They ain't gonna do that again. Now people gonna be on Burrow this year. He ain't gonna sneak up on people. Man, Jamar Chase, he ain't really as good as people say he is. Sure, champ. Sure. For one, Burrow snuck up on nobody. How are you the number 1 pick in the draft and you sneaking up on people? Make it make sense. Like for real. I can see if we talking about a 3rd or 4th round quarterback that's just balling and people don't expect it. When you're the number 1 draft pick of the entire NFL draft, you're expected to do half of what Burrow did. Actually, you're expected to do all of it. If you're the number 1 pick, you're expected to make your franchise better than what they were before they got you. And that's fair to say. If you're number 1 out of every single person in the draft, that's your expectation. You are expected to lift the franchise up, especially if you're a QB. Burrow did that. How he sneaking up on people? Jamar Chase came out and told you exactly what he was going to do. He was like, I'm trying to break every record the Bengals got. I'm trying to break all the rookie records. I'm trying to do all that. He got laughed at. He did it. I mean, what you going to do? Now, if you say the Bengals got lucky, I actually agree with you. There were some stages of those playoff games where the Bengals got lucky. Hey, no qualms with that. I agree. You got me. However, I would then say to you, name me a successful person in anything that didn't get a little bit lucky. Think about it. Everybody gets lucky. I'm sure you're where you're at right now because you worked very, very hard and you got a little bit lucky. You were in the right place at the right time because of your hard work and stuff worked out for you. That's what luck is. Luck is when you work very, very, very hard and it puts you in the right place at the right time and things just work out. It's the truth. I was able to kind of raise up in teacher profile and get like better positions because I worked really, really hard. I got to know people and things just happen to break my way. You need all of those things. And it's the same thing in sports. Nobody's lucky in sports. Like be for real. When you see a team like St. Peter's go to the Elite Eight, people say, oh man, they got lucky. They got lucky 3 times. They beat 3 really good teams because they got lucky. No, it don't work that way. They play really, really hard. They work their asses off and they got a couple of breaks to go their way. You're going to be a little lucky in life if you get to where you need to be. But nobody gets anywhere without a lot of hard work, knowing the right people, and getting a little bit of luck. So, yeah, the Bengals got lucky. The Bengals also beat Kansas City twice, beat the Raiders, beat Tennessee, and came this close to being Super Bowl champs. I mean, you could also say the Rams got lucky, but you would also say the Rams worked super hard, made baller plays at the end of the game, and got a couple of breaks. That's just the game, man. I mean, it really is. That's life. I just basically broke down what life is for you. I mean, that's what it is. You got some people that don't work hard and they don't get lucky. And every now and again, you get some people that don't work hard at all, and they get a little lucky, and then things work out. But think about how much further they could be if they did exactly what they were supposed to do and got lucky. I mean, you need it all. That's what I say. Bengals fans, I said this before. I'm gonna say it a little bit differently. Embrace the hate. I said that before because the hate lets us know that the Bengals are doing what they need to do in order to succeed. That's a little bit different. Now, this is going to be a pretty tough schedule coming up for the Bengals this year. I'm not going to lie. That Tampa Bay game that looked easier at first, but now Brady back. Luckily, we get to play the NFC South, which is lightweight trash. But that first place schedule means we play a lot of first place teams. Oh, and let's do the push right now. Bengals versus Cowboys Thanksgiving. You heard it here first. Let's make it happen. When that schedule comes out, we need to see the Bengals playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. That's what we want. Let's make it happen. I think we played on Thanksgiving like once or something like that. We played the Jets and got mollywopped. It was bad. We need that back on Thanksgiving. I want to watch the Bengals play, and I want to eat turkey while I'm doing it. All right, but I don't want to do that on Sunday. I want to do it on Thursday. So let's make that happen, y'all. Let's see if we can get that done. Tweet heavy for it. I don't know. Hey, you got a Cincy fan talking with LP. We'll be right back. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's the Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.